All right. Hello, everybody. Hello, Luca. Hello, Emiya. Zarmigus. Away. Mystery Theater. T. Serene. Oh my god. We have a bunch of people ready to start today. Last time, we got a bad ending that revealed so much that it, I think, revealed the innocence of a couple of characters. And second of all, far more important, hello, Victor. That's important, but also what's important is that Satoru, the person we're playing as, in his brain might not actually be him. I forget what the name that was called was, but I think it was something beginning with N. It was like Nauta or something like that. Hello, Mirage. And that is who I think whose brain and who may have pushed Satoru out the window, because the real Satoru's brain is actually somebody evil and probably the mastermind behind the whole thing. And I believe that the brain of the original Satoru is inside Cabin Uni. So, yep, that's what I'm thinking right now. Like, I can't wait. And we just left it off right at the freaking poison drink that we could obviously drink or not. Let's go back into it. Woo! Puer Aeternus, eternal child, eh? In Latin? Okay. I return to my room from my coat, then head outside. Just like yesterday, it's sunny. Also, please tell me if you can hear anything or if there's any stream issues. Just like yesterday, it's sunny. The clear winter air is incredibly refreshing. Though it's not like I came out here for the air. I want to check up on Utsumi's condition. The door to her room is still locked, and when I knock, no reply comes. That's when I will want to look through a window. I begin to walk clockwise around the outside of the building. In no time, I'm standing outside my target room. I immediately notice something odd. The window is open. Peeking into the room, I find it completely empty.
Oi, doko ichimatta nda?
I'm sorry. Knowing who the voice actor is, hearing him say "oi oi" like that, I wonder if they did that on purpose.
Hey now, where'd you go?
Maybe she's still in the bathroom? In the bathroom? I quickly dismiss that idea. The snow beneath the window. There are footprints there other than mine. Oh, it might be the murderer. Though they're more like tracks from pushing through the snow than footprints. Mounds full of holes that look like molehills stretch out, snaking back and forth. I follow that trail. The trail continues chaotically, like it's tracing the edge of a Ria coast. I have no idea what a Ria coast is. This is the first time I've ever heard that term. When I thought it goes that way, it turns back this way, and vice versa. In that sense, it resembles an ant trail more than a mole's. Wandering unsteadily across the snowfield. Ooh, where is Utsumi or whoever was there going? Is it going to be a secret entrance? Eventually I reach the wall, and then a titan looks down from above. And that day I received a grim reminder. There at the end of the trail is Utsumi. She stands slightly apart from the wall, petrified like an old tree. I keep forgetting how old this is, Emiya. This came out before the JoJo anime? Damn. Jeez. Because I know the original JoJo anime is not that old. I mean, it is pretty old. Her back is turned to me, so I can't see her face. I leap through the snow, steadily making my way over to her. I approach her from the side. There's something like a notebook in her hand. She vacantly stares at its open pages. She doesn't seem to have noticed my breath, my presence, or the sound of me kicking up snow.
何やってんだよこんなとこで
What are you doing out here?
At the sound of my voice, her head shoots up. She turns and fixes me with a sharp glare. She thrusts the notebook, or whatever it is, behind her back. Slowly, she draws back toward the wall.
なんだよそれ
What's that?
She doesn't answer me. The eyes that stare at me are cloudy and sunken. I suddenly glance down at her feet. She's barefoot? Oh my god. Blistered raw from the cold, her feet are bright red and swollen below the ankles.
内海さん
Utsumi-san.
I murmur, pity in my voice. She continues her retreat. She hits the wall and her body shakes like a wave. Although it isn't possible for her to retreat any further, her feet continue their backward scramble. Her bare feet sliding on the snow. Big white flecks cling to them. I advance with decisive steps.
何よ来ないでよ近づかないで
What's going on? What is it? Don't get any closer! Stay away from me! Her sharp voice cuts through the frozen atmosphere. Utsumi gives me a menacing look, her face horribly contorted. Unfazed, I continue forward, narrowing the distance between us. I grab hold of her arm. Strengthening my grip, I reel her in.
やめて離してよ
Stop it. Let me go! Let me go! I let her continue her futile struggling as I admonish her.
いや話すわけにはいかない
Nope, I'm not letting you go.
部屋に戻るんだ
Go back to your room. Think about what you've done.
いややめて
No, 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 stop it! As she continues to thrash about, I try to somehow hold her down. Something slips from her hand and goes flying. Spinning like a shot bird, it falls to the snow. Throwing off my hands, she rushes over to the fallen object. Reacting immediately, I chase after her. One of her feet gets caught in the snow and she falls forward. But even that doesn't halt her movement. She drags herself along on her hands and knees. I stride past her and picked up the object. It isn't a notebook, but a file folder. Ooh. Does she know Satoru's true identity? I flip it open. Inside is a clear sheet protector that holds several photographs. Oh, the first is of a baby. Is that her daughter? Her second child. It was probably taken a few months after birth. The newborn baby is laughing happily in the picture. The color of its hair and skin are very similar to Utsumi's. Its eyes and nose somehow resemble Yomogi's. Is this baby the new life that Yomogi was talking about last night? I turn the page. Second and third pages have similar photos of the same baby. However, alone at the very last pages. Yep, a boy. In a red cap, white t-shirt and shorts, and sneakers. There's probably a park behind him in that shot. Awash with the brilliant sunlight, he aims a peace sign at the camera. A mischievous little boy with light brown skin. Could this be Junichi-kun? Suddenly the file is snatched away from me. Utsumi hunches over like an elderly woman, clutching the files to her chest. sorrow was written plainly across her downcast face. Her mouth hangs open, and from it escapes an inhuman groan. Her silver hair disheveled, her pupils abnormally wide. There are blotches of pooled blood on her brown skin. Oh my god. It's the same as I saw her this morning. She had the features of a mad woman possessed by a monster.
あなたも狙ってるのね。
You're after him too, aren't you?
11を。
But
あなたも。
Junichi is dead, though. Junichi, you're after him too! A deep pain throbs in my chest. Like I'm being gutted, like I'm being slowly torn apart, like my heart is about to break.
内海さん帰ろう。
I wonder if she knows who Satoru really is. The body, I mean.
Utsumi-san, let's go back.
I'm barely able to whisper.
帰る。
Go back.
どこに帰るっていうのよ。
Where are you asking me to go back to?
私には帰るべき場所なんてどこにも。
I have nowhere to go.
帰るべき場所。
A place to go back to, huh?
そんなことないだろう。
That's not true, right?
あなたには
You still have...
I think the child.
子供がいるじゃないか。
a child, don't you?
去年の8月に生まれた赤ん坊が。
A baby born last August.
その赤ん坊はあなたのことを待ってるはずだ。
That baby is waiting for you.
だからその子のいるところがあなたの帰るべき場所だ。
Like, it's so, like, you can say, like, you know, Utsumi should think of her daughter, but, like, to have the child taken away and to have the person that is there, like, so close. Like, I know that her husband and her are separated. Like, she probably blames herself in some ways. Like, maybe just for sending him to the hospital that day or something like that. I don't know, and then she might just think she's like a bad mother because she let that happen to him. And even though it wasn't really her fault at all. And so I think that kind of guilt is driving her to think twofold. You did not upset me, Ellie. Don't worry. No. You did not. I was busy doing some other stuff. Anyway, that might have hurt her twofold in that she might not think she's fit to raise another child based on what happened. And this is the only thing that she can possibly do left in her life to show that she loved her son. And I think that maybe they might be able to bring Satoru to justice. Because I bet the real Satoru, not the one we're controlling, is probably the mastermind behind what happened. Like, I'd bet what happened to the girl, Inuishi Keiko, was probably like a failed experiment with self or something that caused her to go haywire or something like that. Hopefully there's justice in the end.
That's why, wherever that baby is, that's the place that you should return to.
なんで知ってるの？
How did you know?
Huh?
どうして8月に生まれたって知ってるのよ。
How did you know that birth was in August?
それはよもぎさんに聞いたからだ。
Because I heard it from Yomogi-san.
Alright, here we go!
ゆうべ彼はこう言ってた。
He told me last night
予定日は8月だって。
that the due date was in August.
ということは赤ん坊が生まれたのは去年の8月で。
That means that the baby would have been born last August, right?
あなた何言ってるの？
What are you saying?
あったくどう説明すりゃいいんだ。
Oh, jeez, how do I explain it?
多分信じてもらえないと思うけど、
You probably won't believe me, but,
俺は1年前のよもぎさんに会ったんだ。
I met the Yomogi-san of 1 year ago
赤倉だけ
on Mount Akakura.
ど、だから純一君のことも赤ん坊のことも知ってるんだ。
That's why I know about Junichi-kun and your baby.
彼から直接聞いたんだよ。
I heard it from him.
わけのわからないこと言わないで。
Stop talking nonsense!
あなた頭おかしいんじゃないの？
Is there something wrong with your head?
それはこっちのセリフだ。
That's my line.
今のあなたはとても正気とは思えない。
You look far from sane right now.
頼むから元の内海さんに戻ってくれ。
She's probably gonna say, like, I can't go back or something like that.
I'm begging you, please go back to the old Utsumi-san.
私は正気よ。
I'm perfectly sane!
何も知らないくせにふざけたこと言わないでよ。
Don't smell garbage when you don't know a thing!
あなたに何がわかるっていうの？
What do you know?
純一はあの子は犬伏恵子に殺された。
Junichi, that child, was killed by Inubushi Keiko!
あなたはその上っ面の事実だけしか知らない。
You only know superficial facts about it!
一人のとある少年が殺された。それでおしまい。
That some boy was murdered. That's the extent of it.
純一がどんな子供だったのか。私とあの子がどんな日常を送ってきたのか。
Things like what kind of child Junichi was, how we spent our daily life together.
知らないでしょ。
You don't know that, do you? Then she begins to speak quietly, while fighting back the tears that threatened to overflow from her eyes. Her eyes fold in one of the photographs. Yomogi Junichi-kun. Age at death, 9 years old. On his 9th birthday, he departed this world. Mischievous, willful, always causing trouble. And yet, an unusually lonely and clingy child. At night, if he had a bad dream, he would crawl into his mother's futon and fall asleep. As if wanting her smell, he'd press his nose against her arm. As soon as the sun rose, he'd leap out of bed and bounce around with the energy of a kitten. Yep. He loved doing dangerous things so much that he once climbed to the chimney of a public bathhouse, causing a great ruckus. Oh God. All the adults gathered together trying to persuade him to come down, but he wouldn't leave the chimney. Later, he said that he'd frozen in fear and couldn't get down. And then dusk fell. Yomogi finally came to save him. Yomogi didn't scold his son for his recklessness. He just smiled silently and gently patted his head. And Junichi-kun bawled. Sobbing and wailing, even after he ran out of tears, he cried and cried. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Over and over again, he apologized as he clung tightly to Yomogi's leg. He seemed to be a child with intense emotional highs and lows. When he laughed, it was with his whole heart. And when he cried at the top of his lungs. Yep. He was 5 years old the first time he was sent out on an errand. I've heard, though, I would be surprised at that if I didn't know that Japanese thing where, like, that's just a thing they do in Japan, which just blows my mind. Like, they have a culture that just protects innocent children set on errands alone, which is just unthinkable in any other country. Like, that would be friggin' literally seen as like child endangerment in any other country, but that's like just a Japanese culture thing I've heard of, and it's freaking mind-blowing every time I hear about it. Instead of cabbage, he accidentally brought lettuce. And Utsumi said, "What a pity. And I was gonna make cabbage rolls for dinner." When he saw his mother's troubled look, Junichi frantically played dumb. "But the man at the store said that'd be fine." While trying his best to make excuses, his eyes began to overflow with tears. "He said it'd be fine. He said it'd be fine. So I... Oh, this goddamn cat. I gave him the money like you told me. He got the right change, too, see? He said it'd be fine. The man said so. So I... He was probably so ashamed he couldn't bear it, and so he cried. Utsumi wanted to comfort him, so she spoke to him gently. But the more she tried to comfort him, the harder he cried. He was a crybaby. Athletics was the one area where he excelled. The training wheels came off his bike when he was still in kindergarten. Of all the neighborhood children, he was the first. He must have been very pleased with that because he came to love bicycles more than anything afterward. One day they decided to go shopping together in the next town over. I know, Serene, that's very familiar. Yamogi and Utsumi had intended to go there by train, but Shinichi-kun insisted on biking there. And then he actually rode his bike himself, chasing after the train. On that very day, there was an accident and the trains were stopped. Having reached their destination first, he smiled proudly. He hadn't learned how to wink yet. So he squeezed both eyes shut tight, admirably showing his intent to do that. He really is like a young child anime protagonist. That's why he said that bikes were faster! By the time he'd started elementary school, he could even ride it with no hands. Even while going downhill, even when passing a car, he wouldn't stop. Stop doing that. It's dangerous. Even after Utsumi scolded him, he continued riding like that, his face supremely unconcerned. He'd ride around the hills and fields until nightfall, come back covered in mud from going shoulder deep in the early spring rice fields. He was covered in scratches and scrapes all year round. When the three of them went skiing, he would ascend to the peaks alone and come back down safely. Wow, he's really athletic. Perhaps he inherited his love of dangerous things from his father. Utsumi thought it was charming to have a child like that. His dirty clothes could be quite troublesome to clean, though. Mischievous, willful, and always causing trouble. And yet an unusually lonely and clingy child. Evening came. Junichi-kun was crawling to his mother's futon and fell asleep. Yamogi was right there beside them. The three of them slept side by side. Sleep, sleep, sleep. In summer, they slept under a single thin sheet. The wind would blow in gently through the open screen door. The wind chimes would ring. In autumn, they changed to a thick blanket. The wind would begin to grow colder. Outside, the fallen leaves would rustle as they tumbled about. Winter came and Yamogi would disappear. In order to support the two of them, he risked his life climbing snowy mountains. Mother and child would embrace each other, waiting for Yamogi to return. Even in the city, it would begin to snow. Down and down it would come until it lay thick on the ground. And then spring would come again. As soon as the sun rose, Junichi-kun would start bouncing around. He'd come home caked in mud. Many days passed this way, then months, then years. Time passed in an instant. And then on January 14th, 2009,
この子がどんな殺され方をしたのかあなた知ってる？
do you know how he died?
心臓は綺麗な桃色してたわ。
Oh God. What a thing to say. His heart was such a pretty pink.
細い肋骨は透き通るような白で
Oh my God. His ribs were so white and thin. They looked transparent.
顔だけが無傷のまま残ってたの。
His face was the only part of him left intact,
赤く染まってたけどね。
but it was stained red.
私それを拭ってあげて。
So, I wiped it off.
どんな顔してたと思う？
How do you think his face looked?
安らかな寝顔？
Was it a peaceful sleeping face?
布団に潜り込んできた時みたいな甘えた顔？
A sweet face like the times when he crawled into my futon?
それともあの時みたいに泣き汗をかいてたのかな？
Or was it the sad crying face he'd made back then?
違うわ。
No,
あの子はね
his face.
苦痛に顔を歪めてたのよ。
It was warped in agony.
地獄の底で炎に焼かれてるみたいな苦悶の顔。
It was a face of anguish, as though he were burning in the deepest pits of hell.
血まみれになった口が張り裂けそうなほど開いて
His bloodied mouth was opened so wide, it looked like it would tear apart,
何かを叫ぼうとしているかのように。
as if he was trying to scream.
これで分かったでしょ？
Now, you understand, right?
私はあの女を殺すわ。
I'm going to kill her,
どんなことがあっても。
no matter what.
だから
So,
邪魔しないで。
stay out of my way.
あなたに迷惑はかけないから。
I won't cause you any trouble.
お願い。
Please. Saying that, she leaves. I can't stop her. For the next few moments, I can only stand still, unable to think. Except that I feel a chill deep within my chest, as if it's frozen. My heart is crumbling, like a marionette with its strings. Oh, there's the famous visual novel line. I fall to my knees in the recently disturbed snow. Visual novels and light novels use that simile so much. Hello, Tronbuster. Welcome to the stream. Before I know it, a transfer has occurred. What a time to swap. My body has changed, but my heart hasn't. I felt as depressed as ever, as though I'm gasping for breath at the bottom of a quagmire. I can't even make a joke. I can't stop thinking about Itsumi, on Junichi-kun and the baby and Yamogi. The very same Yamogi is here now in a corner of the room. sitting atop a bundle of firewood. He's staring intently at the palms of his hands. An axe is leaning against the wall beside him. I finally noticed something unusual. The room looks different from last night. Table is gone, so are the chairs. Floor is covered in fine splinters, which means they chopped it all up for firewood. They ran out of fuel. The room is filled with a heavy atmosphere. The dark atmosphere is so thick that you can scoop it up with your hand. Nobody dares to open their mouth. Lynn is sitting beside her bed, her arms folded. She stares at the floorboards furred by splinters with a blank look in her eyes. Uni stands at the window looking outside. Present time, 3:57 p.m. Beyond the window, everything has dyed a madder red. Ooh, this is when... now this is what I thought the last time. This is when Kokoro got warped to Tsumi, and she said something like we said, you can't stop me, or something like that. That's gotta be this time. Setting sun in the west casts a gloomy light over the room. I think this is like his next to last swap into Kokoro's body too. Mingling with the aura of unrest, the light takes on a bewitching color. As time passes, the shadows deepen. The night gradually creeps up on us. I can almost hear its footsteps. My heart beats disconcertingly fast. No time. I have no time. I can only be at the shelter cabin for 33 minutes. I take a look at Kokoro's wristwatch and see the moment drawing near by the second. Spurred on by that feeling of urgency, my mind finally clears. It's useless to keep thinking about Itsumi. Right now I need to worry about the shelter cabin, or about the exchange phenomenon. That's right, there's still something I need to ask Uni about. Here we go. All right. Question I keep missing my chance to ask. The important issue I've been pulling off. I walk behind him, grab his shoulders, and spin him around to face me.
Uni!
どうしたの？
What's wrong all of a sudden?
聞きたいことがある。答えてくれ。
There's something I want to ask you. Please answer me.
何？
What?
Uni is visibly upset. Overwhelmed by the forcefulness of my actions, he falters.
お前は
You.
Cutting off my words, I stop and look at Yomogi and Lin. But I don't care anymore. I don't care if they hear me. That no longer matters. I'm running out of time. Without hesitation, I
お
speak.
前は2012年のユニだな。
Are you the Uni from 2012?
何のこと？
What do you...
とぼけんなよ。
Quit playing dumb.
お前は1年後の未来からこの世界にやってきた。
Thank you, Satoru.
You came to this world from 1 year in the future.
逆にこの世界にいるはずだったユニの方は1年後のスフィアに飛ばされて。
And in your place, the Uni who should be in this world ended up in the Sphere a year later.
そうなんだろ？
Isn't that right?
お前は何もかも知ってるはずだ。
You should know everything!
Da 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 do 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 do.
知らないよそんなこと。
I don't have no idea about that. Does he have like a southern accent now or something?
嘘つくなよ。
Don't you lie to me! Here! Take that! Have this evidence.
教えてくれ。
Ah!
一体何があったって言うんだ。
Tell me what happened.
どうし
Hold
て
it!
お前は1年前の赤倉岳に戻ってきたりしたんだ。
Why did you return to the Mount Akakura a year in the past?
何のために
Why?
何を企んでるんだお前は。
What the hell are you planning?
Here we go. I frantically shake his shoulders, pressing him for a reply. He's literally pressing him like Phoenix Wright. Then suddenly, ooh. Ah! Satoru's picking on me! Uni screams as though he's gone mad. Twisting out of my grip, he breaks into a run. He throws open the door of the cabin with all his might. Here we go.
待てユニ。
Time to show your true form.
Wait, Uni, where are you going?
Deaf to my calls to stop, he dives out into the snowfield. I run out after him. Here we go. I plunge into the fallen snow. Sunset has dyed its surface a deep crimson. I scramble over the deep snow, kicking it up as I run. Despite that, the gap between us doesn't show any sign of closing. Uni is getting away from me, swinging across the snow surface with the agility of a snow rabbit. Meanwhile, I can only trudge awkwardly through it.
You want your answers? Come and find me.
Of course. There's another person's body, a woman's body.
ユニユニ。
Uni! Uni!
I shout towards his shrinking back. Without turning around, he barrels up the gentle slope of the hill. Oh no! No, he's totally in control of the swaps. He's totally in control of the swaps. Real. He's totally in control of the swaps. Uni disappears from sight. And not just Uni. The snowfield, the gentle slope of the hill, and the vast sky have all vanished too. The only thing that remains the same is the bewitching matter red surrounding me. Only that and nothing more. Present time, 4:30 p.m.
Damn it.
Once again, I fail to get the truth out of Uni. Refusing to dwell on it, I quickly leave the room. When in Sphia, I have no choice but to focus on matters in Sphia. Hotori's room. When I open the door, I find her and Uni lying down on the bed.
どうしたの？
What's wrong? I feel slightly relieved at the sight of her safe. Uni is keeping his promise to keep an eye on her, the good Uni.
いや、なんでもないんだ。
No, it's nothing.
Without saying another word, I leave the room. Next, Usumi. The door is unlocked. But I can't see her anywhere inside the room. I do hear the sound of the shower coming from inside the bathroom. God damn it, Zarmak, it's not Hangman's Gambit. Why can't they just let Hangman's Gambit die? I don't understand why they keep having to bring it back. They just keep making it worse. Well, number 3 was better than number 2's, but seriously. Nobody likes Hangman's Gambit. Nobody! God. I hope if there is any other future Danganronpa games, no more Hangman's Gambit. They're good at inventing new minigames. Just replace it with something else. It's a stupid minigame anyway. Like, who's ever heard of a fucking rope way to begin with? Seriously. Motherfucking seesaw effect. Using the wrong word for Toko's condition. Oh, God. It's just dumb. Hangman's Gambit is just dumb. Jeez. I closed the door, trying not to make a sound, and returned to the living area. I let my body sink into the sofa. Covering my face with my hands, I heaved a sigh. The first version of Hangman's Gambit I actually think is the best because it's just the shortest, easiest, and most straightforward. Because it's just... oh god, yes. No, did you do that too? Oh, I bone the meat on? I did on the meat bone so many times. I was like, what? Like, how come that's not working? Like, seriously. It's because of the way they worded the question. It makes you want to start with the word on. And then you do on the bone meat and things like that. It's like, oh god. That's the only time I ever fucked the order of the words up. There's a hilarious video about on the meat bone that one of my favorite YouTubers, Nico B, made of his LP of Danganronpa 2. Like, somebody made a clip of his experience with On the Meat Bone, which contains spoilers for Danganronpa 2. So if you haven't beaten that game, or at least beaten the first case, don't watch it. But the it was just a very hilarious video. Like, because it happens to just about everybody who plays Danganronpa 2. It's just a very silly phrase. Like, alright, let's get back to Remember 11. My nerves are on edge and I can't calm down. I can't possibly calm down. Utsumi's out to kill Hotori. Someone's out to kill me. I keep swapping. Uni's probably the evil mastermind. The shelter cabin's almost run out of fuel. Uni's behavior there is as baffling as it gets.
How the hell did it come to this?
How many times have I recited those very same words by now? Thinking back, it was on January 11th. It all began after I went up the clock tower. Why I did that, I still don't know. I'm not even sure how I got up there in the first place. It's because it wasn't really you. The entrance leading to the roof of the clock tower. I don't know where it is. All of a sudden I remember something. Back on January 11th when I asked Utsumi why I went up the clock tower.
あなたを最後に見かけたのは確か3時半を回った頃だったかしら。
The last time I saw you, if I recall correctly, was around 3:30.
階段を降りていく後ろ姿がリビングの方から。
I just saw you from behind, going down the stairs from the living area. She said something like that. Going down the stairs. Why would I need to go down the stairs to go up the clock tower? When I came to stairs, there's only one set inside the building. Stairs leading down to the storeroom. Here we go! This is probably where he fights that dude. Or is it? I spring up from the sofa and decide to head there. I walk down the stairs and reach the storeroom. I find some crates piled up unnaturally in the corner. Move them out of the way. Secret passage. Use your keycard. A door comes into view. Finding it quickly is so anticlimactic. Just like when I opened Sophia's front gate. Have I by any chance known about this door from the start? I have that feeling. Here we go. There's a card reader terminal on the wall beside the door. The Sophia front gate opened with the ID card. So maybe this door too. Satoru, you should think about why you have ID access. You know, come to think of it, this game's twist, if I have it predicted correctly, is a lot like Ghost Trick. I pull the card out of my pocket and insert it to the groove of the reader. Oh! Mastermind's control room. I see all the monitors. The door opens. I push it open and step into the darkness as if drawn in. Through the door, there's a dimly lit space. Here we go. What is this place? Squinting, I survey it. This might be where the murderer guy's hanging out. It's a small room. I walk around ascertaining its layout. There's an iron door on the left-hand side of the room. Another room deeper underground? Oh boy. For the time being, I leave that door alone and look elsewhere. Here we go. Next to the door is an enormous machine representing a supercomputer. It's currently operational. I can hear the dull sound of the fans echoing through the room. On the other side is a single chair surrounded by a bank of control panels. Above the panels is an array of monitor screens. Images of something are shown on the monitors, faintly illuminating the murky interior. Upon further inspection, they appear to be showing areas of Sophia. Every private room. The living area, the kitchen, the basement storeroom, the front entrance, the gate, the basketball court. This could be a surveillance room. I've never noticed them, but it looks like Sophia has hidden cameras positioned everywhere. It's obvious if you think about it. This facility is a specified psychiatric hospital for isolation and ages. I wonder if we're gonna find out what's up with the ages part. Oh my god, Luca, we found a secret control room in the basement. Of course, there'd be equipment for monitoring the inmates. Nevertheless, what happened to the guards supposed to be stationed here? Or any of the staff for that matter? A question that's nagged at me for a long while rears its head once more. There's another door at the back of the room. Where does it lead? Going by the layout of the upper floor to be a private room, but slowly approach the door. Wonder if it stairs up to the tower. Something makes me glance back at the... Look at all the fucking files around here! On top of it, there's a folded sheet of paper. Pick it up and spread it out flat. A map of Japan. Yep, there's Hokkaido. For some reason, it's faded around the Hokkaido and Tohoku regions. Put it back where I found it. Beside it is a cup of coffee. White steam. Oh. Somebody just recently left and is gonna come back. Rises from it. White steam. Huh? A chill runs down my spine. The fact that it's still hot means it's just been brewed. And that in turn means someone was just here a moment ago. Praying for their arrival, I brace myself. Who is it? Where are they hiding? And when I think that... The ceiling lights come on. Uh-oh. The dim room is flooded with light. Ooh, new character. I wonder if this is Satoru or like another Satoru.
Welcome.
An unfamiliar male voice. I spin around quickly. There stands a man.
I've been waiting for you.
Here we go. Finally, we're getting a full explanation here.
I was just thinking it was about time for you to show up.
Waiting for me? Who the hell is this guy? I don't recognize him at all. No, it's strange. Is this Naoto's original body? Something isn't right. What is this feeling? I don't know this man. I never met him. And yet within the... Oh! I wonder if this is Satoru's original body. Which, if it is, Satoru is utterly fucked since he killed him. And within the memory stored into my hippocampus, fragments of something almost forgotten resurface and submerge again and again. I almost feel I've known him for years. This is probably his original body. Oh my god, is my theory correct? That would be absolutely nuts if it was. It's the same feeling I had when I met Yomogi and Yuri. Scared to my lost or maybe transplanted memories too?
You.
I managed to wring a few words from my dry throat.
お前は誰だ
Who are you?
Hearing those words, the man shrugs his shoulders in disappointment.
まったく困ったことだ
Really, this is quite troublesome.
本当に何もかも忘れてしまったようだね
It seems you really did forget everything.
私は榎本直也
Oh my god, yep. That's his original body. Uh-oh. Oh no.
I am Enomoto Naoya.
どうだいこれでもまだ思い出せないかい
How about now? Still don't remember?
As I thought, I know this man. Nope, I knew him. Hello, email. Welcome to the stream. But even when I hear his name, I can't remember a single thing about him. Maybe it's not that I can't, but that I don't want to. Am I subconsciously blocking out my memories of this guy? Yep, because you'd totally freak out.
その顔からすると全く覚えていないということか
Or I'm guessing that I'm completely off, you know. My guesses are probably completely off base. And y'all are laughing at me.
Since you're making a weird face, I guess you really don't.
まあいい
Well, so be it.
私のことなどどうでもいい
Who I am is unimportant.
今行われていることの重要性に比べたらさまつなことだ
It's a trifling matter compared to the importance of what's taking place here and now.
今行われていること
What's taking place here and now?
わからないかい君の身に起きている事象のことだよ
You don't get it. I'm talking about what's happening to you right now.
What? Don't tell me. The personality exchange. Or is that someone's after my life?
それにしても厄介なことになったものだ
Anyway, this is quite a pain. Why didn't we take the goddamn ID card?
よもやこれほど面倒な状況になってしまうとは
We certainly have found ourselves in a troublesome state of affairs.
こんなことなら君を時計台になど登らせるべきではなかった
If it was going to end up like this, I shouldn't have let you go up to the clock tower.
Yep. Naoya, the original, real Naoya, Satoru. God damn it, this is so confusing. How do I refer to them? Like, Naoya, the original Naoya was probably like a mole. What did he just say? What if the shadow appeared behind me on the clock tower had been this man? Yes and no. The one who pushed me off of it. Try to get in again to kill me.
おやどうかしたかね
Oh? What's wrong?
お前なのか
Was it you?
俺を時計台から突き落としたのは
The one who pushed me off the clock tower?
俺を殺そうとしていたのはお前なのか
The one who tried to murder me? Was it you?
Enomoto suddenly flashes me a chilly smile and pushes his sunglasses up to the bridge of his nose. Oh shit, he's doing a Gendo Ikari. It's a gesture that can take as either confirmation or denial.
なぜ答えない
Why won't you answer? Because it's a difficult question. When you say you, what do you mean?
お前なのかお前じゃないのか答えろ
Was it you or not? Answer me!
答える必要などない
I have no need to answer that.
意味のない質
It's a meaningless question.
それもまたさまつなことなのだよ。
And yet another trifling matter.
さまつなことだと。
Trifling matter?!
人一人の命がかかってるってのに意味がないとはどういうことだ。
My life is on the line, and you're saying it's meaningless?
それともやっぱり全部お前の仕業だったってわけか。
Or has this all been your doing from the start?
Enomoto and I glare at each other for a while. Well, I'm glaring at Enomoto, that's for sure. I can't tell he's wearing sunglasses. But, unfazed by my attitude, Enomoto just watches me coolly.
知りたいのか？
You want to know?
え？
Huh?
そんなに君を殺そうとしていた人物のことが知りたいのか？
Do you really want to know who's trying to kill you?
当たり前だろ。
Obviously I do.
俺はまだ殺されるわけにはいかない。
I can't die just yet.
第一、わけも分からず殺されなきゃならない道理がどこにある。
And first of all, why should I have to die for God knows what reason?
犯人をとっ捕まえて片っ端から事情を聞き出してやるんだ。
I'll catch the killer, and then I'll make them tell me everything.
Looking away from me, Enomoto mutters.
意味のない行為だと思うけど。
Exactly.
I don't think that would do you any good, though.
今の君が知ったところで余計に混乱するだけだ。
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god, yep, oh my god. Watch me be totally wrong, but if I'm interpreting this correctly, yep, oh my god.
Even if you did find out as you are now, it would only serve to confuse you.
どういう意味だ。
What do you mean?
まあいい。
Oh well.
そんなに知りたいのなら後で見せてやろう。
If you want to know that badly, I'll show you later.
見せる。
Sure.
ちょうど先ほどデータを整理したんでね。
I just finished organizing all the data a short while ago.
Enomoto just ignores my question and continues.
君の欲する場面を望むままにお見せすることができよう。
I can show you the scene you wish to see, just as you wish to see it.
What's he going on about? What does that mean?
まあもっとも先ほども言ったように今の君が見ても意味がないと思うがね。
Exactly.
But as I said before, even if I show you, to you as you are now would be meaningless.
それに
Besides,
あくまでわかるのは表面上の出来事だ。
all you understand now is what's going on superficially.
本当に重要なこと、君の内面で起きていることまでは伺い知れない。
Your understanding stops at what's truly important, what's happening within you.
Happening within me? Is he talking about the personality exchange?
わかるだろ？
Do you get it?
本当に重要なことは目に映る事象ではない。
What's truly important is not what your eyes can see.
真実は二つの目なんかでは見ることはできない。
The truth cannot be seen with a pair of eyes alone.
真理は
The truth.
Enomoto raises his index finger and gently touches it to his forehead.
真理はここで見るの。
This is where you truly see the truth.
I don't know why, but Enomoto's words overwhelm me. I have no idea what he's talking about. But what he says shakes me to the core. As though he's cast a spell over me. No, that's not it. Maybe I knew it from the beginning. The meaning behind Enomoto's words.
さあ、ここまで言えば十分だろう。
Now then, this should be satisfactory.
今の君に必要な情報は、知るべきことは、君の身の保証のことなんかではない。
The information you need to know right now, what you must know, is not restricted to the topic of your body's security alone.
最も重要なこと、それを説明しよ
I'll explain the more important parts to you.
何のことを言ってるかもちろん分かっているだろ
You do know what I'm talking about, don't you?
人格交換
The personality exchange.
ご名答
Correct.
やっぱり君は頭がいい
As I thought, you're no fool.
Enomoto curves his lips into an over-wide grin.
さてどこから説明しようか
Well, where shall I begin?
With those words, Enomoto walks over to a chair in front of the console.
というより君はどこまで覚えている分かっているのかな
Or rather, how much do you remember? 11? What do you already know?
Enomoto sits down, leans against the back of the chair, and asks that of me.
まず話はそれからだ
Let's start from there.
俺が分かっていること
What I know?
そうだ話してくれたまえ
Yes, please do tell me.
Enomoto lays an elbow on the armrest and props his chin in his hand, urging me to begin. Trinity. Oh. There are 3. I close my eyes and think over everything I couldn't understand this far. After that, I softly begin speaking. My proposition R. R1, personality exchange. R2, my goals at both Aosaki Island and Mount Akakura. R3, Tsumiya no Tori. As to R1, he listens with great interest, occasionally nodding along. However, he has no interest in R2 and 3. Seems like he's ignoring me outright when I bring them up. That would make sense. Once I finish, Enomoto leans back in his chair.
ブラボー
Bravo!
Oh! And he actually did it and congratulates me, clapping lightly.
いや見事だ
No, that was truly splendid.
よくもまあ限られた情報の中からそこまで導き出せたものだ
You did well in deriving that much from such limited information.
素晴らしい
Magnificent.
アオサギ島と赤倉岳の転移
A transfer between Aosagi Island and Mount Akakura.
アオサギ島から赤倉岳への転移はその発生時刻に規則性はなく完全なランダム
The transfers from Aosagi Island to Mount Akakura do not occur at predetermined intervals, but completely at random.
He must be lying. Because they're definitely not on Mount Akakura.
しかし赤倉岳からアオサギ島への転移の場合は33分間という時間内で現象は維持され元に戻る
Are you sure it's random? Because of what Uni did. I don't completely buy what he's saying.
However, when it comes to the transfers from Mount Akakura to Aosagi Island, the phenomenon maintains a duration of 33 minutes before changing back.
この転移は同時並行的に発生するのではなく1年間のブランクを挟んで行われる
I think he's just repeating what Satoru is saying, basically just summarizing.
These transfers do not occur at the same point in time, but rather with a period of 1 year in between them.
つまり2011年と2012年の間で行われている
In other words, they happen between 2011 and 12.
要するに時間跳躍と人格交換を一緒に行ってるということなんだろ
Which would mean that the time jump and personality exchange happened together, right? Well, we already knew the 33 minutes. That was never in question, really. Enomoto uses his finger to push the bridge of his sunglasses up his nose and slowly nods.
その通りだ
Precisely.
Damn, you really do love doing the Gendo Ikari thing.
大枠についてはだよ
Regarding the general outline, that is.
That means my reasoning isn't just mere speculation, that it isn't too far from the truth.
それでもいくつかわからないことがある
Even so, there are a number of things I don't understand.
いやわからないことの方が多いと言ってもいい
No, you could say there are a whole lot of things I don't understand.
それはそうだろう。当然だ。
Well, that's a matter of course.
まずはなぜこんな現象が起きたのか。
To start with, what's causing this phenomenon?
Oh my god, yes. Mystery Theater. Yagami, I think his name was. Something with a Y. That's probably why, because it's very similar to your name in here. Mystery Theater. And this was kind of released around that time, too. Yamaki was his name.
To start with, what's causing this phenomenon?
いきなり確信をついてきたね。
Cutting straight to the chase, eh?
まあいいだろう。
Fine, I suppose, if you want to be a party pooper.
Enomoto stands up from his chair and walks toward the large machine that resembles a supercomputer.
装置のおかげさ。
It's because of this device.
And that's probably why it stops later, because he breaks it or something. I don't know. Fly away, have a good time. Saying that, Enomoto places his hand on it.
装置の処理によってこの現象は起きている。
Because of the processes of this device, the phenomenon is allowed to occur.
説明は以上。
Explanation over.
悪いがちっともわからない。
Sorry, but I have no idea what you mean.
装置ってなんだ。どういう仕組みなんだ。
What is this device? How does it work?
そもそもそんな大掛かりな装置があったとして仮に停電にでもなったらどうするつもりなんだ。
To start off, considering you have such a large piece of equipment, what would you do in the event of a power outage?
それで現象は止まったりしないのか。
Does that put a stop to the phenomenon?
中途半端な状態。例えば人格交換の途中で装置が停止してしまったらとんでもない事故になってしまうんじゃないのか。
What if in mid-operation, for example, if the device stopped when a personality exchange was still occurring? That'd be very bad, wouldn't it?
まあ待てよ。立て続けに質問しないでくれないかね。
Slow
順番
down
に
for
行こうじゃないか。
a moment. Could you not ask so many questions at a time? Let's go in order, alright?
まず後者についてだが、心配はいらない。
First, about the latter issue, there's no need for concern.
このスフィアには発電機が設置されている。
Sphere is equipped with its own generator.
自家発電ってやつ。
A personal power supply, in other words.
I hope it has a backup generator. Enomoto inclines his jaw toward the iron door on the left. With that much space, it might actually be possible.
しかも、いざという時には予備電源に切り替わるようになっている。
There you go.
Moreover, in case of an emergency, it will switch to a backup power supply.
予備電源でも数十時間は稼働できる。
The backup supply is sufficient to provide several dozen hours worth of electricity.
99.999999999%事故は起こり得ない。
Endless 9! Oh man.
99.99999999999% of the time, an accident cannot occur.
次に前者についてだが、
Next, about the former of your two main concerns.
細かい説明は後にさせてくれないか。
Can the details wait until later?
順を追って説明しないとこちらもやりにくいんだよね。
If I don't explain it in order, it'll be more difficult for me. And the audience will be even more confused. Understood.
疑問は他にもまだある。
I still have other questions.
About the moon. The moon and Akakura, supposedly in 2011, and the moon and Aosagi, supposedly in 2012, were in the same phase. More specifically, they were both in the correct phase for the year 2012. About the ocean. On Mount Akakura, after climbing out of the mortar-shaped depression, I saw an ocean there. Moreover, when I opened the front gate of Spia at Aosagi, there was an ocean waiting there for me as well.
どういうことなんだ。
What does it mean?
それを解く前に一つ言っておくことが。
Before I answer that, there's something I must say.
君は勘違いをしている。
Here we go.
You seem to be misunderstanding.
勘違い
Misunderstanding?
君たちは人格交換。人格が転移をしているんじゃない。
Really?
It's not a personality exchange that you two are undergoing. Your personalities aren't being what's transferred.
本当に転移しているのは
What's really being
空
transferred
間。
is space.
What does that mean?
Huh?
空間自体が転移しているんだよ。
Space itself is being transferred.
正確に言えば空間が時間を飛び越えて転移している。つまりは
Do you mean like his brain space?
To be precise, space is leaping through time and transferring. In other words,
You're kidding me. Are the facilities themselves teleporting around? The cabin area and Sphia are literally fucking teleporting. What?
時空間転移だ。
it's a space-time transfer.
時空間
What?
Space-time transfer?
そうだ。
That's right.
Having said that, Enomoto once again takes a seat and begins typing something out on the keyboard. As he does, images begin to appear on a nearby monitor.
君の導き出した推理とはつまりこういうことだろう。
The reasoning you've been able to derive goes something like this, doesn't it?
2011年の赤倉岳にいる冬川心、それと2012年の青崎島にいる君、結城堂悟。
Fuyukawa Kokoro, who exists at Mount Agakura in the year 2011, and you, Yukiro Satoru, exist at Aosaki Island in 2012.
それぞれの意識が肉体から乖離し、時空を飛び越え、互いに入れ替わる。
Both of your consciousnesses are dissociated from their respective bodies, jump through space and time, and replace each other.
こんな風にね。
Just like this.
そして君は2011年の冬川心の肉体に憑依し、
Look
逆
at
に
my
冬川
PowerPoint
心は
presentation
君
and
の肉体に
despair.
憑依する。
And so you possess the body of Fuyukawa Kokoro in the year 2011, and vice versa.
人格交
A personality exchange.
換。こう考えたわけだろ。違うかい。
This is how you thought of it, right? Or am I wrong?
そうだ
That's right.
だがそれでは説明のつかないことがある
However, there are things that this doesn't explain.
月と海のことだ。
You're referring to the moon and the ocean, am I correct?
あ
Yeah.
当然だ。矛盾すると思う。
Of course, there are contradictions.
繰り返すが、君は勘違いをしている。
I'll say it once more, but you've been misunderstanding.
この考え方は間違っている。
Here we go. Yes!
This line of thinking is incorrect.
時空間転移とか言ったな
A space-time transfer, you said.
それは一体
Just what does that mean?
こういうことさ。
This. Move to the next PowerPoint slide.
Monitor displays a different image.
2011年赤倉岳冬川。
Holy frapperoonies! They're literally teleporting the giant chunk of land back and forth? Are you kidding me? But how do their minds get swapped? The year 2011. Hello, I can't read your name there. Skull, I think it says. Welcome to the stream. Year 2000.
The year 2011. Mount Akakura, Fuyukawa Kokoro.
2012年青崎島結城堂悟。
The year 2012. Aosaki Island, Yukiro Satoru.
この初期条件は先ほどと同じだ。
The initial conditions are the same as before.
しかしここから先が違う。
But here's where it differs.
君たちに起きている現象は人格の移動ではないのだ。
In the phenomena you're currently experiencing, it's not your personality that transfers.
さっき 空間自体が転移してるとか言ってたな。
You said it was space itself transferring before, didn't you?
そう
Yes.
空間赤倉岳の避難小屋を中心とした半径110メートル
Jesus Christ.
A space with a radius of 110 meters, centered around Natakakura's shelter cabin.
それと青崎島のスフィアを中心とした半径110メートル
And Aosagi Island sphere is the center of a space with the same radius of 110 meters.
その半径110メートルの球体に含まれる空間が転移しているのさ
The space contained this 110-meter radius of this sphere is transferred.
What does that have to do with the mind swapping, though?
この球体の中に含まれるありとあらゆる物質が2011年と2012年のそれぞれの2年間においてごっそりと入れ替わる
Every last bit of matter contained in this sphere completely changed its places between two corresponding points in 2011 and 12.
こんな風に
Just like this.
これが時空間転移と呼ばれる現象
This is a phenomenon called the space-time transfer.
こうすることで避難小屋の半径110メートルの円
Like this, you have the 110-meter radius area around the shelter cabin.
仮にサークルとでも呼ぼう
This is the sphere of sphere. Here we go.
Or you could just call it a circle instead.
すると避難小屋のサークル外に青崎島の海が広がっていることになる
And so, outside the shelter cabin circle lies the ocean of Aosagi Island.
ちょっと待てよ。
Wait a second.
俺と心のことはどうなる？
Yeah. What?
俺の肉体と心の肉体は
Yeah.
なぜ入れ替わってしまう
Alright,
んだ？
that explains the moon phases and everything, but what the fuck does that have to do with switching brains? Exactly.
What about me and Kokoda? Why are we switching bodies?
それに月のことはどうなる？
And what about the moon?
I mean, that makes sense. You just saw the moon in the same place when the things were swapped correctly. The moon makes sense.
And what about the moon?
俺が13日に見た月はどちらも2012年のものだった。
It's
間
because
違いない。
you looked at it at the same time. Alright, so I was wrong that they were both in 2012. Okay. See? Told you. I knew I couldn't be completely right. Seriously, this is way more insane than anything I thought of. But still, I have no idea what's going on with the mind transfer. So this just basically explains the ocean and the moon, if they're again swapping through time as well.
The moons I saw on 13th were both from 2012. No matter how I looked at it.
Yes, Serene, this also explains the radio from 2011.
君たちは例外なんだ
You two are the exception.
例外だと。
The exception?
君たちの意識は転移せずにその場に残留しているんだ
Well, we know that's not completely true. Because at the ending, they both managed to be in the same place.
Your consciousnesses don't transfer. They remain in their original space.
残留？
Remain?
見たまえ
Watch.
And Emoto points to the monitor. So then how is Uni swapped? The images changed without me noticing.
転移の際君と冬川心の意識だけは肉体から乖離してその場に残留する
On the verge of a transfer, the consciousnesses of you and Fuyukawa Kokoro alone dissociate from your bodies and remain in place.
But how does this explain the newspaper? And Uni? This still isn't completely answering everything. This explains basically everything except the newspaper and Uni. Exactly, Mystery Theory. It wasn't them swapping, it was everything else. Except uni doesn't make sense right now. And the newspaper. So this explains most things.
On the verge of a transfer, the consciousness of you and Fuyukawa Kokoro alone dissociate from your bodies and remain in place.
君の意識は2012年の青鷺島に、冬川心の意識は2011年の赤倉岳に。
Wait a minute. No. Wait. Hold on. Okay, so I'm trying to think. If Kokoro's mind is eternally at Mount Akakura. Wait, no, that's gotta be wrong. Because how does she see the ocean at the end? Wait, that's gotta be wrong. How come Kokoro sees the ocean at the end? That doesn't make any sense. If she never goes to Aosaki Island, truly. Why would she see the ocean?
Your consciousness at Aosaki Island in the year 2012, and Fuyukawa Kokoro's at Mount Akakura in 2011.
そして君たちの意識を除いた物質と他の人間たちだけが転移。
No, there's still plenty not explained by this. Like the newspaper and uni. Everything else is explained though.
And then only matter and other people transfer. Your consciousness is excluded.
And why are they so special?
肉体という器をなくした君と冬川心の意識は新たにやってきた代替品としての器の中へとそれぞれ憑依する。
The consciousnesses of you and Fuyukawa Kokoro, having lost the vessels called bodies, each possess a vessel which has freshly arrived as a substitute.
すると
Which... Next
こうなるわ
slide
けだ。
looks a bit like this.
君は冬川心の肉体に、冬川心は君の肉体に。
You and Fuyukawa Kokoro's body, and Fuyukawa Kokoro in your body.
どうだい？頭のいい君ならもう理解できただろ
Well, as sharp as you are, you understand by now, don't you?
う。これが君たちの身に起きた転移現象の正体だ。
This is the truth of the exchange phenomenon you're undergoing.
But why keep this a secret? And why use Sphere for this if you're just like experimenting with teleportation technology? Hello Miko, welcome to the stream. How does this explain uni and the newspaper? I don't understand that.
だから俺は常に2012年の月を見てたわけなのか。
That's why. I always saw the year 2012's moon.
その通り。
Precisely.
Enomoto says, nodding as he does.
なんで俺たちだけが俺たちの意識だけが残留するんだ。わけがわからない。
Why? Why is it only our consciousnesses that remain? I don't understand.
When I speak, it's barely above a whisper.
さてね、
Well, now.
どういうわけか
I wonder why that is.
I wasn't expecting Enomoto's response. The inside of my head is in total chaos. As soon as one question is solved, another rises to take its place, and another, continuing on without end. Solving one puzzle only generates another. There's no end. These mysteries are inexhaustible. On and on and on and on and on. Around and around it goes in an endless circle. Guru guru.
信じられない。
I don't believe it.
こんなこと起こり得るはずが。
Something like this, it couldn't possibly.
だが実際に起きているだろう。
There's a lot of holes in what he's saying. Like, what's going on with Uni? And if only... Then how on earth did the newspaper get there?
However, it's actually happening, is it not?
それが真実かどうか一番よく分かっているのは君自身じゃないのかね。
You should know better than anyone else whether it's real or not.
真理を頭で考えても見えてこない。
See, I was completely wrong about everything. All... Jeez.
No matter how much you think about it, no truth will appear.
Okay, so I guess, he didn't... This isn't his original body or something. Oh well.
常識という枠にとらわれてはいけない。
Don't let yourself be limited by the constraints of common sense.
感じたことを素直に受け入れるんだ。
Accept what you feel. Give in to the darkness.
Enomoto stares at me through his sunglasses. I can't look away. He's too hot. There's no way he's lying. He may not be lying, but he's definitely leaving shit out. I know that instinctually. I don't even have to think about it.
しかし
But
しかしなぜそんな馬鹿げた現象が起きるんだ。
why is such a ridiculous phenomenon occurring in the first place?
やれやれ。
Yada yada. Oh dear.
本来こんなことを私が説明するまでもないはずなのだが。
But it is possible still that Satoru was truly the mastermind somehow, or was in charge of this whole thing and forgot. Another explanation I'm going to put forward right now is that Satoru was originally in charge of this project, and Enomoto tried to steal the project from him. It's very possible. But then why in the bad ending was Enomoto like... Oh god, this is so confusing. Jeez. And why was Uni all smiling, all evil and shit in the Kokoro route? And clearly knew more than he let on. There's so much unexplained.
There should have been no need for me to explain this in the first place. But
仕方がない。
there's no helping it. It can't be helped.
長くなるのでできるだけかいつまんで教えてあげよう。
It'll be long, so I'll try to summarize where I can.
Enomoto repositioned his sunglasses. You just love being Gendu Ikari.
君は量子テレポーテーションって知っているかい？
Have you ever heard of quantum teleportation?
I
mean, I have, but let's just explain it for... let me hear your explanation, because I want to see if you know.
なるほど。まずはそこから
Yeah, let's
説
hear
明
what he
しなけれ
says.
ばならないか。
I see, so I'll have to start from there.
量子テレポーテーションとは量子力学の性質を利用した技術のことだ。
Quantum teleportation is a technique based on the properties of quantum mechanics.
テレポーテーション。物体をそっくりそのまま別の場所に転送させる現象。
Teleportation. The ability to transport an object entirely to a different location.
いや、物体を転送というのはちょっと語弊があるな。
No, transport an object isn't quite correct.
正確には物体を転送するのではなく物体の情報を転送する。
To be more accurate, it's not the object that is transferred, but the information which composes it.
物体そのものを転送する必要はない。
There is no need to move the object itself.
送りたいのは状態の情報であって状態自体ではない。
Then wouldn't that be just copying it? This, I think, Uchikoshi used that for, Zero Time Dilemma.
What you want to transfer is the sum total of the object's present physical state, but not that state itself.
For this scene, can we check the tips? You know what, Leah, let's go over the tips. A supercomputer, computer capable of processing very ultra high speeds, technologist parallelism. Hello, Taravel, welcome to the stream. Yes, I'm giving him a very evil voice, I'm sorry. Jeez. Processing speed can be as high as 10 to the 12th operations per second as of 2003. In recent years, supercomputers have come to be used for weather forecasting across Japan, calculating things like temperature, pressure, and the movement of clouds. Hippocampus, part of the brain, part of cerebrum paleocortex. The hippocampus controls the function of desire, instinct, the autonomic nerves, and so on and so forth, yada yada ipso fatso. Due to its responsibility for deciding the level of urgency of received information and storing memory in other parts of the brain, it's referred to as the memory factory. It is said that without the hippocampus, a person would be unable to remember what happened even 5 minutes ago. Additionally, it is not simply the case that one becomes forgetful with age. Rather, adults, because of having a much greater store of memories than children, take much longer to remember a single essential piece of information. Quantum, the smallest unit of a physical quantity, non-continuous, expresses values limited to a set of integer multiples of a certain unit amount, quantized values. Oh yes, the Planck number. In 1900, Planck proposed the idea of a quantum energy, quantum hypothesis, that spawned the beginning of quantum theory. Subsequently, Albert Einstein discusses the existence of a light quantum, photon, and Niels Bohr demonstrated the angular momentum quantum. Quantum mechanics. Here we go! Schrodinger's cat! What Uchikoshi loves more than anything else in the world. Study of molecules, atoms, and subatomic particles. In short, the dynamics of matter and energy on a microscopic level. It introduced the principles in the Schrödinger equation. Conducted probabilistic explanations between values that can be obtained from observation, postulated the wave-particle duality of matter, and explained the uncertainty relationship in measurements. Quantum mechanics, as a fundamental theory of modern physics dealing with particles and particle populations, has developed into nuclear and chemically oriented condensed matter theories on one hand and elementary particle and field theories on the other. Schrödinger equation, aka wave equation. In quantum mechanics, a differential equation that determines the temporal change of wave functions signifying matter waves. It can be shown formally that the evolution of the wave function is given the equation by the Hamiltonian operator, which corresponds to the total energy of the system. Yep, that's right. I understand everything. Doesn't get it at all. I studied the biology, not the physics. Yep, that is correct, Luca. The Planck number is the smallest meaningful number. Smallest meaningful distance, yep.
What you want to transfer is the sum total of the object's present physical state, but not that state itself.
物体の量子情報を転送し、別の場所にその物体を再構築するわけだ。
Transmitting the quantum information of an object, then reconstructing it at a different location.
Wouldn't that be just copying it?
信じられないかもしれないが、できるのだよ、現実的に。
You may not believe this, but it is a realistic possibility. It can be done.
実証もされている。
It's been proven.
Are you talking about like some things like the slit light experiment and things like that?
量子テレポーテーションの理論的基礎となっているのは EPR ペアと呼ばれる概念だ。
The theoretical basis of quantum teleportation lies in the concept known as an EPR pair.
EPR ペアとは一度の操作で同時に発生させた2つの粒子に生じる特徴のこと。
EPR pairs are born from the simultaneous generation of particle pairs.
この双子の粒子は不思議な運命を共有することになる。
Oh, are you talking about quantum entanglement? I know about that.
These twin particles share a mysterious destiny.
簡単に言ってしまえば
Put simply,
その双子の粒
Yep,
子
you're
は
talking
ど
about
んなに
quantum
離れて
entanglement.
いようとも一方を観測することによって生じた影響がもう一方に瞬時に伝わってしまうのだ。
Yeah, that's the basis in FTL communications in a lot of science fiction.
no matter how far apart the twin particles are spatially, any influence on the state of one particle is instantaneously transmitted to the other.
たとえ両者が1万光年もの距離を隔てているね。
Even if, for example, the distance between the pair is 10,000 light years.
Yeah, that's what I. Yeah, physics is my second favorite science after biology, and so I've read a bit of things into physics, although not nowhere near like the level of an expert. But yeah, I know that's things like that have only been achieved in single particles. So yeah, this is really fascinating. One thing I absolutely love, like a quirk of Uchikoshi's writing, is when he goes super in depth into subjects and things like that. When he has characters that are allowed to be smart about something. And I think that is so cool when they're allowed to give these explanations in character. I love that about his writing.
つまり高速を超えて伝達する。
So in other words, the transmission of information which exceeds the speed of light.
そう。
Yes.
もっとも実際は双子の粒子は個別に考えるのではなくひとまとめにして捉えなくてはならないからというわけなのだがね。
So consequently, for all intents and purposes in reality, the twin particles should be treated as not two but as one.
Let's just check our tips. Oh, we're skipping some shit. Why? EPR. Oh, wow. I see. An abbreviation composed of the first letters of the names of three physicists, Einstein, Podolsky, and Rosen. These three presented the EPR paper to argue against the concept of uncertainty principle of quantum mechanics. This opposition was especially pronounced in the case of Einstein, summed up as his famous remark, "God does not play dice with the universe." Yep. And I think, if I recall correctly, he later refined that statement in that if God plays dice with the universe, they're loaded dice. I don't know if it was him who said that, but I do know that that statement was later altered. Although fully recognizing its usefulness, he was known to be uncomfortable with and to oppose quantum mechanics until his death because of its inability to definitely describe the microscopic aspects of physical reality. Einstein conducted many thought experiments that criticized quantum mechanics and troubled his opponent Niels Bohr, one of the founders of quantum mechanics. Glad they didn't end up like Hamilton and Burr. Uncertainty principle, the archenemy of lambda delta. In regards to quantum mechanics, it refers to the impossibility of determining accurately and simultaneously both the particles' position and momentum, energy and time, or other coupled physical quantities.
Not fair! You changed the outcome by measuring it!
It holds with the uncertain relationships that the product of the two values of these uncertainties cannot be smaller than a fixed value proportional to Planck's constant. Introduced by Heisenberg in 1927. Oh, this is a long one. EPR paper published by Einstein, Podolsky, and Rosen, also known as the EPR palette paradox. It presents a thought experiment that is extremely critical of quantum mechanics. It was originally published by Einstein and his co-authors as an attack on it. Ironically, it ended up having the opposite effect and became the best material for deepening one's understanding of the field. Because that's how science works. The details of the experiment are as follows. According to quantum theory, when two particles are created at some location by the same event, they share a certain kind of state. For example, a stationary pi meson decays into two photons in opposite directions. But both members of the photon pair are represented with a single Schrödinger equation. Quantum theory states that as long as they aren't observed, the particles can be expressed by the same equation forever. So even if one of them flies a long distance away, if you observe some information about it, such as spin or polarization, you should know the state of the particle that remained behind. But at the moment that you observe one particle, the wave function of the other particle collapses accordingly, appearing as if the measured information has instantly been transmitted from one to the other. However, modern quantum mechanics has successfully come up with a proper explanation. Experimental results that support it have been published one after another. Particle pair generation. An example of an established method, the following procedure exists. When a UV laser beam interacts with a crystal of nonlinear optic material such as barium borate, each single photon splits into two other photons with long wavelengths. These split photons travel along the contours of two cones that, in turn, are symmetric about the initial beam. The points where the contours of two cones intersect have photons in a state of entanglement, i.e. there is no distinction as to their origins there. What is known about these entangled photons is that their polarization is mutually orthogonal. However, it is impossible to definitely know their respective deflection angles. This method of creating entangled photons is called parametric down conversion. Diggity dang dang, I did not know about things like that. Oh, we're skipping some things. God damn it. 69 is gone. I see you, what you're doing, Uchikoshi. A state of entanglement, a state of quantum superposition. It refers to a situation in which a system of several quantum bits, in accordance with the laws of quantum mechanics, forms an inseparable state and behaves as if it were a single entity. Are we coming up on the end stretch of these tips here? Quantum bit refers to a new unit of information content. Yep, qubits. That's what quantum computers use. Refers to a new unit of information content, different from the classical bit. I never said that, Sarmingus. Jeez. I think he's nice. Information represented by a binary digit, 0 off or 1 on, used in modern computers, von Neumann machines, that become mainstream by the time of 2003. A physical state in which 0 and 1 overlap, quantum superposition, is treated as an operational unit. Oh, we got another one. Also known as a qubit. Computers that use them are called quantum computers, and they are capable of carrying out extremely fast calculations, massively parallel computation. It's not going to end. Oh, we've reached the end. Okay, here we go. Quantum computer. A computer which creates a superposition of two states as a single element and performs calculations using both states. A von Neumann computer can only perform a single calculation per element. Because of this, if there are 10 elements, the number of calculations that can perform simultaneously rise to 2 to the 10. As more elements are added, the computational power grows dramatically. The speed a computer like this boasts of can truly be called wondrous. There's like 120 or 110. Dang. I can't believe there's so many more tips. Jesus Louises Creases.
さて、この概念を踏まえて説明を続けよう。
Now, with that general concept in place and all those definitions read, I'll continue.
And Emoto pushes his sunglasses up again
God, I love Evangelion.
and turns back to the keyboard.
テレポーテーション
Teleportation.
つまりある地点のものを別の地点へと転送するわけだから送信側と受信側がいることになる
In other words, the transfer of something from one location to another. Thus, both the sender and the receiver are necessary.
便宜上送信側をアリス受信側をボブと呼ぶことにしよう
For the sake of convenience, let's call the sender Alice and the receiver Bob.
ではアリスからボブに量子テレポーテーションを用いて情報を送信する手順をお見せする
Now I'll show you the process by which information is transmitted from Alice to Bob via quantum teleportation.
Oh, the last tips are unlocked once I get all the others. I see, Serene. How did I miss some in the beginning, though, on the Kokodo side? Operating keyboard, Nanomoto pulls up an image on the monitor. You don't have to press 58 billion keys to advance in PowerPoint.
まず EPR ペアの共有
All you did was open an image file.
Firstly, sharing an EPR pair.
Oh, wow. So he's saying Satoru and Coco are like a quantum entangled pair. Oh, that's kind of romantic. Oh, wow. Even though, like, that's like a representative type thing. Ah, that's really romantic.
Firstly, sharing an EPR pair.
EPR ペアの発生源から絡み合いの状態にある粒子 B と粒子 C をアリスとボブが共有できるように送り込む
Let's share a pair of particles entwined with an EPR pair source. Particle C and particle B. Between Alice and Bob, respectively. Bob and Alice, I should say.
If I said it that way.
次に粒子 A の受信
Now let's introduce particle A, the party pooper.
ボブに送信したい情報プサイを持った粒子 A をアリスが受信する
Alice receives particle A, which contains information.
Phi, I think that is. I don't remember all my Greek letters, I'm sorry.
That she wants to send to Bob.
一般にアリスにとってはプサイがどんな情
Oh,
報
it's
かは分から
Psi.
ない
Psi, sorry.
Generally, Alice doesn't know the kind of information that psi is.
もし分かってしまうと波動関数が壊れてしまうからだ
Because if she did, its wave function would collapse.
またアリスが粒子 A を受信するタイミングは粒子 B と合わせる必要がある
In addition, the timing of Alice receiving particle A must match that of particle B.
次はベル測定
Next, the Bell measurement.
アリスは粒子 A と粒子 B との間でベル測定と呼ばれる特別な測定を行う
Alice performs a special measurement called a Bell measurement on particles A and B.
簡単に言ってしまえば2つの状態間のパラメータを測るということだ
To put it simply, the process is about measuring the parameters between their respective states.
この時アリスの得られる情報はベル状態
So Alice determines their Bell state.
つまり A と B とで絡み合った4つのそれぞれ異なった量子論的な状態であって
That is to say, one of the 4 different quantum states of the now entwined particle pair AB.
粒子 A の情報プサイを得ることはない
but she still has no idea of the size state of particle A.
なおこの状態はそれぞれ理論上すべて同じ確率でその確率は4分の1ずつとなる
Furthermore, these states theoretically share the same probability of being obtained, namely a fourth for each state.
4つのうちのどれかというわけだ
Consequently, it could be any of the four.
そして粒子 A のテレポーテーションが行われる
Next, particle A is teleported.
アリスがベル測定を行った瞬間に粒子 A、B の区別はなくなり EPR ペアの状態が破壊される
The moment Alice makes her bell measurement, distinction between particles A and B is lost. And the state of the EPR pair is destroyed.
それと同時にボブ側の EPR 状態は部分的に収縮し情報負債が粒子 C に移動する
At the same time, that of the EPR pair Bobbers partially collapses, and the state psi migrates to particle C.
ただしボブはベル測定の結果をアリスから知らされるまでは意味のある情報への変換の仕方がわからない
However, until Bob learns the result of the bell measurement, he won't be able to recreate the state of the sent particle.
その次はベル測定の結果の送信だ
So the next step is to communicate the result of the bell measurement.
And that's where you're stuck, because you still got to communicate that.
アリスが得たベル測定の結果をボブに送信する
Like,
Alice sends Bob the result of the measurement she obtained.
この時の通信手段は一般的には電話などの古典通信高速以下の通信が使われる
The means of communication at this time can be more orthodox, say a phone call or a letter, a transmission occurring below the speed of light.
only this kind of defeats the purpose of FTL communication if you need something else. So this is where it kind of falters.
最後に量子情報の変換
And then the final step of the transformation is the transformation of the quantum state.
ボブは知らされたベル測定の結果を利用して粒子 C の量子的な情報にユニタリ変換
Using the result of the bell measurement Bob was informed of, particle C becomes quantum information through a unitary transformation.
すなわち波動関数の情報を損なわない操作を施す
Namely, an operation which does no harm to the information of the wave function.
その結果ボブ側にアリスが送りたかった情報負債が再現される
The result is that the state psi Alice wanted to send to Bob is successfully reproduced on Bob's side.
こうしてようやく意味のある情報がボブに転送されたというわけだ
Consequently, the vital information is finally transferred to Bob.
以上が量子テレポーテーションの主な流れだ
And that is how the protocol of quantum teleportation works. Oh, your reading today is pages 100 to 120 in your textbook. And don't forget your group projects are due in 2 weeks. I'll see you later.
この中では EPR は2段構造となっているが理論上は何段階でも構わない
Here I showed you an experiment using only a single EPR pair. But of course, any number of pairs are possible as well.
アリスの隣にアリス2、アリス3、アリス N と任意に設置できる
You can arbitrarily add Alice 2, 3, so on, yada yada, so fatso, all the way up to Alice N.
簡単に説明するとこんなところかな
That's about as simple an explanation as I can give.
量子テレポーテーションは本来人間などは転送させることはできず
Originally, quantum teleportation couldn't transfer things like humans.
光子や原子といった微粒子のみの転送しかできないと言われている
Many thought could only use used to transform minute particles such as photons and atoms.
だが私の属している企業によって開発された技術がそれを可能にしている。
However, the technology developed by the corporation I belong to has made it possible.
微粒子に分解された原子の状態、人間や物体の量子情報を転送する。
What we transfer, the state of the atoms is assembled. The quantum information of humans and objects.
ちなみに転送後はオリジナルの量子情報は失われるわけだから。
Okay, I see. So they're being destroyed and recreated each time.
By the way, the original quantum information is lost after the transfer.
無生物の場合はコピーを作るだけということになるが、人間を転送した場合、
In the case of inanimate objects, the transfer would only create a copy of the object. But when humans are transferred...
Hold on, guys, a second. Hold on, sorry. Hold on, I'm sorry. 1 second. Sorry. My kid woke up and decided to turn on their iPad. Okay, just had to take care of things upstairs. Alright, I'm back.
オリジナルの人
Oh
間
no,
は
I didn't want to
送信
click.
元のサークル内では消滅。
In the case of inanimate objects, the transfer would only create a copy, but when humans are transferred, the original human dies when they dissipate from inside the transmission circle. And then they're reconstructed at the place of reception. Essentially, they're resurrected.
Ooh, diggity dang dang. Wow. I wonder if he used that in other ways. Alright, let's check those tips. How did I miss two? God. Wave function. In the square of its absolute value, can give the existence probability of a particle. In this sense, the wave function is referred to as the probability amplitude. Alice and Bob. In cryptography, the one conveying the information is commonly referred to as Alice. But the recipient is referred to as Bob. Probably because of A and B. The naming convention originated from a paper on quantum teleportation, published in 1993. Additionally, a person found to be intercepting communications, either through a bug or wiretap between Alice and Bob, is customarily referred to as Eve. Seriously, Mystery Theater, this is like the Star Trek transporter ethical conundrum. Like, are people being literally killed and recreated each time? That's kind of... It's like, I would never want to go through a teleporter if that was the case. Bell measurement. Method of placing an isolated pair of particles in an entangled state and observing both of them at the same time in a way that doesn't permit them to be distinguished from each other, in order to maintain the entanglement. Since the particles must be passed through a beam splitter, such as a half-silvered mirror, at exactly the same time, this is extremely difficult in practice. Unitary transformation. In a unitary space, a linear transformation which preserves the value of the Hermitian inner product of two arbitrary vectors formed after the transformation. Of course. Of course. Suppose we denote the adjoint of an matrix as M star. Makes perfect sense. Then M is unitary if its complex-valued square matrix fulfilling the equation of M times N equals M star. M star times N equals M star equals E, where E is the identity matrix of order N. Obviously. Duh. Oh my god. Corporation. Oh yes! Yes! Here is fucking Livelick. Fucking Livelick. Oh my god. Yep, a joint job. It's always Livelick. You guys are gonna be fucked in 2034. But until then, you get to have your reign of evil and terror. A joint Japanese-German pharmaceutical company. Its head office is in Frankfurt, and the majority of its staff are German. An internationally renowned drug manufacturer, its capital is generated worldwide, and has very strong ties with the government of several countries. The company's area of expertise isn't limited to the pharmaceutical sector. It includes a wide range of business endeavors, such as the management of recreational facilities and so on and so forth, such as underwater amusement parks. Oh, I forgot more pages. Yep, an example of this would be an ocean theme park called Lamu, which the company manages. Strictly speaking, they provide funding to Lamu Limited, the park management organization. Totally don't have a hidden area at the bottom. What are you talking about? Additionally, regarding their bacterial research, said that the company owns one or two of the leading facilities in the field. However, this business enterprise has a hidden agenda. Evil. They are in fact developing biological weapons for military purposes. It seems that this company is amassing a huge amount of capital from several countries for the purpose of developing highly lethal viruses and their respective cures. Now it may seem that they only have a dark side in bacterial research, but as the structure of their pharmaceutical company would demonstrate, their medical research is conducted with inhumane practices. They are cartoon villains. Among their activities are using human test subjects without any regard to basic civil rights. Their research, development, synthesis, and refinement of illegal drugs, expanding profit by trafficking their drugs on the black market. Furthermore, according to presented information, the company has recently ventured in the area of long-range missile development as a result of its ties with a certain heavy chemical company. Jesus Christ. They are literally a James Bond villain. One could argue that all their devotion to research and development information of engineering and quantum physics is investment toward military use. It would take ages to even try and enumerate all of their wrongdoings. A pharmaceutical company with a reputation this bad, and yet this is merely a glimpse of all the darkness the world possesses. And yet all it took was one little clone girl to take them down. And her mom. Jeez.
ただし君たちの場合は例外で意識が送信元に残留してしまうため
However, you two are an exception. Your consciousnesses remain at the origin of transfer.
その肉体は一見魂が抜き取られたようにも見えることだ
At first glance, it may seem as if your soul has left its body.
これが先ほど言った 肉体という器をなくすという現象の正体だ。
Is the true nature of the phenomenon I mentioned earlier, of you losing the vessels called bodies.
話は戻るが、この量子テレポーテーションの仕組みを両地点に設定しておけば相互の転移が可能となる。
Getting back to the point, as this quantum teleportation construction is established at two different points, mutual transfer between them becomes possible.
Pretty much, I mean, it seems physics would be a bit out of their depth. But, like, the stuff that was happening in Ever 17 is a lot more in line than with what you would expect. As opposed to, well, that aside from the contacting higher dimensional entities, but I think that was all a you thing.
赤倉岳と青鷺島、2つの量子情報は転送し合う。
Mount Akakura and Osagi Island both. Their quantum information is transferred between them.
ご理解していただけたかな？
Have you found my explanation understandable?
I mean, it does, but there's still things that don't make sense. Once he finishes talking, Enomoto exhales and brings the coffee cup to his lips.
まず
How unpleasant.
い。やれやれ、すっかり冷めてしまったか。
It's gone completely cold.
Well, I didn't ask for a freaking 3-hour physics lecture.
なるほど。
I see.
時空間転移の正体が量子テレポーテーションということは分かった。
You could have taken a sip when you were doing your PowerPoint presentation. I didn't. I wouldn't have gotten offended. Oh, well, now you tell me. I was worried about that the entire time. I was thinking, oh god, what is Satoru going to think of me if I take a sip of coffee during my PowerPoint? I mean, you just made it. It only makes sense. It's not that big of a deal. Oh, well, at least now I know for the future. Sure. Any other time you give a lecture, go right ahead and drink your coffee. Well, thank you for that. It gives me a quite big a peace of mind. Great. I understand that space-time transfer is actually quantum teleportation.
けれど、その量子テレポーテーションがどのようにして時空間転移に結びつくかがわからない。
Though I don't know what quantum teleportation and transferring through space and time have to do with each other.
特に空間はともかくとして、なぜ時間を跳躍して転移するんだ？
Especially time. Traveling through space aside, how is it possible to transfer through time?
当然の疑問だな。
I thought you might ask. Here is my next presentation.
よろしい。
Very well.
では、それを説明しよ
And I'll continue my explanation.
Enomoto lowers his
う。ま
cup.
ず、時空間転移を発生させるための装置が存在する。
First, a device for enabling space-time transfer exists.
これは先ほども述べた通りだ。
It's the same as what I stated before.
時空間転移装置。そう私は呼んでいる。
The space-time transfer device. Otherwise known as Leibniz's greatest invention, the STD. That's what I'll call it. Isn't that the best name ever? You might want to work on that.
装置は EPR ペアの粒子を生み出す発生源であり、粒子の測定器であり、転送時の変換器でもある。
The device is the source which produces EPR pair particles, measuring the particles and converting them at the time of transfer.
いわば時空間転移の心臓部というわけだ。
Consequently, it's the heart of the space-time transfer, so to speak.
技術的な説明はいい。
Enough with the technical explanation.
俺が聞きたいのはそんなことでなく、
Like, why? What's the purpose of this?
That wasn't what I wanted to ask about. It's...
わかっている。
I know.
まあそう焦るな。
Don't get so impatient. Well, we've been here for like an hour. And I could get swapped out of here for like any second. And I don't think Kokodo's gonna appreciate this. She's a journalism major. She won't get any of her lecture.
Enomoto holds a hand up to command silence before continuing.
装置にはさらにもう一つの機能が備わっている。
The device possesses one more function,
それは
and that is
時間を歪める機能。
the ability to bend time.
時間を
Bend
歪める
time?
そうだ。
That's right.
限られたある一定空間の中だけだがな。
It's restricted to a predefined space, however.
よくわからないな。
I don't know what you mean.
時間を歪める行為と時空間を跳躍することにどんな関係性があるというんだ。
Exactly how are you saying bending time and jumping time and space are related?
まあ理論的なところは省略するが、つまりは
Well, I'll skip the theoretical bit, but
こういうことだ。
in short, it's this. You know, you don't have to make 500 key taps just to bring up your next PowerPoint slide. Shut up, it looks more impressive.
これは時間と空間を二次元的に表した図だ。
This figure represents time and space as a two-dimensional diagram.
Y 軸を時間、X 軸を空間、緯度を示している。
Also, are you using like Windows 3.1? Isn't it like 2012 or some shit? You should at least be using Windows Vista. I mean, seriously, what the fuck? Or at least Windows XP. I mean, come on. Shut up. Isn't this supposed to be a state-of-the-art computer? I said shut up! The y-axis represents time and the x represents space. Specifically the latitude of each location.
それで
And?
この赤い印は2011年の赤倉岳。青い印を同じく2011年の青鷺島と考えてくれたまえ。
Think of this red mark as the Mount Okakura of 2011. And the blue mark is the Osagi Island of 2011.
両者は同じ時間軸上に存在するが、空間については別の位置にあるということだ。
Both exist on the same time axis, but in different locations.
両者を Y 軸上においてプラス方向に移動し、このような状態とする。
If we move both into the positive region of the y-axis, it becomes like this.
2地点の時間は2011年から2012年へと変化した。
The time in which the 2 points exist changed from 2011 to 12.
これが我々が体験する時間の経過というやつだ。
This is the normal patterns of time we experience.
もちろんわかるだろ
You understand that's much correct.
問題ない。
No problems yet.
赤倉岳と青鷺島がこのように同じ時間軸上に存在し、異なるのが空間だけであるならば、転移には何の支障もない。
As you can see, Mount Akakura and Nagasaki Island exist on the same time axis, and nothing stands in the way of transfer between them.
そうだな。
That's right.
だが
However,
実際のところはこうだ。
at the moment it's more like this.
冬川心のいる赤倉岳は2011年に存在し、我々のいる青鷺島は2012年にある。
The Mount Akakura, which Fuyukawa Kokoro exists, is in the year 2011, and Osaki is now 2012.
空間ばかりか、時間までも座標軸が異なっている。
Not only space, but the time axis differs as well.
このままでは転移はできない。
Like this, transfer isn't possible.
両地点に双子の粒子を飛ばすこともできないし、送信側から受信側へと測定結果を伝達することもできない。
The twin particles are able to jump between 2 points, and the result of the measurements can't be transferred between the sending and receiving ends.
つまり量子情報の変換を行うことができないというわけだな。
So consequently, the conversion of quantum information basically can't occur.
そのと
That's exactly it.
ではどうするんだ。いや、
Then what do you do? No.
どうやってるんだ。
How does it happen?
2つの地点の座標を1本の直線で結ぶのさ。
The 2 coordinate points are connected by a single straight line.
リンクを結ぶんだ。
A link between them.
仮にこの直線を T' と呼ぼう。
Let's call this line T prime.
しかしこれだけでは何の解決にもならないだろう。
But that won't help anything, will it?
まだわからないかい？
You still don't understand.
先ほど言っただろう。装置は時間を歪める。
I told you before, didn't I? This device can bend time.
まさか
That's impossible!
A smirk forms on Enomoto's face. As if to say that's right, he begins typing on his keyboard, changing the image. I still don't understand why he has to use the keyboard to go to the next slide in his PowerPoint. Shown there is the image of the y-axis, time slanted. The line marks T prime perpendicular to it.
これで理論上はいや事実上と言ってもいいかな。2つの地点は同じ時間軸上に存在することになった。
Oh, is he doing like a z-axis graph here? Because this is how usually a z-axis graph is presented with the vertical line here being z.
According to this theory, now you can see how it's a matter of fact. The 2 points can exist on the same time axis.
Yeah, this is linear algebra. Sorry.
先ほどの諸問題は一挙解決。
This solves all the problems we had before in one fell swoop.
It does, really?
量子情報を変換し合うための状態は整った。
The conditions for the transfer of quantum information have been met.
こうして2011年の赤倉岳サークルと2012年の青崎島サークルは相互に転移を繰り返す。
Like this, the Mount Akakura Circle in the year 2011, and the Aosagi Island Circle in 2012. And transfer back and forth over and over again.
OK?
Okay.
The ramblings of a fool. Yay! A really, honestly, seriously, madly, accursely unrealistic bunch of crap. Yeah, I do agree. I mean, yeah, like explaining the time travel on top of it, like they'd have to go into Steins Gate to do that, and like that's a whole nother hour-long lecture. However, it's actually happened. My own body has experienced it time and time again. I wonder if there's some things even he's not aware of. Because uni and the newspaper is the biggest hole here. Also, why is he forgetting shit? I mean, they have to be prepared slides, Serene. Like, we don't see him in Microsoft Paint making those, like, or in Photoshop, like, making those little graphics of, like, the ABC, the Alice and Bob. That would take a lot longer. It's clear he's just bringing up images. And they look like PowerPoint slides, especially the earlier ones. And PowerPoint definitely existed in 2003. I remember using it for presentations. Because I was in college in 2003. I read how unbelievable it is as a mere theory is unmistakably reality. And that's why I'm really, honestly, seriously, madly, accursedly struggling to comprehend it. My mind still struggles violently against the very notion.
まだ納得できないようだな。
It seems you still can't accept it.
仕方ない。
Oh well. Now it's time for you to die.
What?
では実証してあげようじゃないか。
Shall I show you proof?
なんだって？
Of what?
時空間転移をさ。
The space-time transfer, of course.
Why are you using people with DID as the test subjects here? Like, there's so many other questions.
と とは言っても君たちに起きているような大掛かりなものは無理だがね。
That said, it's impossible to demonstrate a large-scale transfer like what's happening to you.
時空間転移装置のプロトタイプがある。
I have a prototype of the space-time transfer device.
それを使って実践すればさすがの君も納得せざるを得ないだろう。
If I show you the great STD in action, then even you'll be convinced, right? I wish you'd stop calling it that. Never.
Saying that, Enomoto disappears through the iron door beside the supercomputer. After a while, he returns holding a complicated-looking piece of equipment.
これが時空間転移装置のプロトタイプ。
This is the prototype of the STD. Stop calling it that.
ざっと説明しておこう。
I'll give you a rough explanation.
Oh god.
この中央の箱が EPR ペアの発生源。量子的絡み合い状態の粒子を発生させるところだ。
Inside the box in the middle is the origin of the APR pair, where the particles entangle on a quantum level.
Yes, Sarvegas. That only raises further questions!
そしてその両側にある箱がアリスとボブ、送信側と受信側だ。
And those two boxes either side represent Alice and Bob, the sender and receiver.
I'm trying to parse how this physics experiment relates to literally every other plot point. Like, did the hospital jump to some other place and that's why? But, freaking, Inabushi Keiko, like, was the one left behind and somebody else jumped into her? Like, is that what they're trying to imply, or, and that she doesn't have DID? Maybe?
And those two boxes either side represent Alice and Bob, the sender and receiver.
脳書きはいい。見れば大体わかる。
Yeah.
さっさと始めてくれ。
Satoru's very realistic reaction here.
Enough showing off. I'll understand once I see it. Get started already.
それは結構なことだ。
That's enough, is it?
ではアリスとボブの中にこの入れたばかりのコーヒーを入れるとしよう。
Then let's put some freshly brewed coffee inside Alice and Bob, shall we?
2 cups of coffee are in Enomoto's hands. One is a white cup on a white saucer. The coffee inside is milk in it. There's a black cup on a black saucer. The coffee inside is black.
Using coffee for your evil experiments. You truly are depraved.
Enomoto places 1 cup in each of the Alice and Bob boxes and switches the device. The dull whine, it begins to operate.
ちなみにアリスは2011年の赤倉岳、白いコーヒーソーサーは赤倉岳サークル。
By the way, Alice is the Mount Akakura of 2011, and the white saucer is Mount Akakura's transfer circle.
白いカップは冬川心を示していると思ってくれたまえ。
So I think of the white cup as Fuyukawa Kokoro.
逆にボブは2012年の青崎島、黒いコーヒーソーサーは青崎島サークル。
Conversely, Bob is the Osaki Island 2012, and the black saucer is Osaki Island's transfer circle.
黒いカップは君、有機道悟を示している。
The black cup will be you, Yukito Satoru.
なるほど。
I see. And
Enomoto then takes out Bob's coffee and sips it.
うまい。
Delicious.
How dare you enjoy coffee as well, you fiend.
やはりコーヒーは濃いめのブラック。それも入れたてが一番。
You bastard! I can't believe I have to say this.
Coffee is most definitely best black. And freshly brewed at that.
You monster.
それに
Yeah, I'm with Satoru there.
And on the other side.
Enomoto then puts the cup back in place. And it's time to sip from the Alice coffee.
ミルクの入ったコーヒーは最悪だ。不純物のせいでコーヒーがコーヒーでなくなっている。
Who said this before? Who was saying this before? I know somebody said this before. Oh god, and oh my god. I can't wait until somebody kicks your ass, Enomoto. I can't wait until somebody kicks your ass. Oh god. Oh, you. Oh, you. You're gonna pay for that, making me say this. You have good taste, Mystery Theater, unlike certain people here.
Coffee with milk in it is the worst. Coffee can't even be called coffee anymore once it's been contaminated like this.
God damn you! Ah! Frowning, Enomoto returns the cup to Alice.
そうは思わないかね。
Don't you agree?
話がそれてるようだが
The conversation's kinda straying off topic.
そんなことはない。これも重要なプロセスの一部なのだ。
That's not true. This is an essential part of the process.
で、君はどう思う？コーヒーはブラックか？それともミルク入りか？
So how about you? Do you enjoy your coffee black or with milk?
ミルク入りだ当然だろ
My man! My man! Right there.
With milk, isn't it obvious? You literally want to drink dirt water. That's what black coffee is.
ミルクを入れないコーヒーなんてソースのかかってないステーキみたいなものだ
Coffee without milk is like steak with no sauce.
それにブラックは胃にも優しくないんだ長生きしないぜあんた
And besides, isn't black coffee hard on the stomach? You won't have a long life drinking that all the time, you know.
大きなお世話だよ。
Hell yeah! Woo!
Mind your own business.
まったく。君とは本当に意見が合わないな。
Goodness, our opinions don't match up at all.
And Enomoto says with a bitter smile. I
君も
wonder
一
why
口
he's
飲んでみ
saying
ない
that.
実際に舌で確かめてみてくれ。
Well, won't you have a sip? Confirm it with your own tongue.
Oh wow, we decided that aspect of Satoru's characters. That's interesting, Serene. It was an earlier choice. I think I remember that. Yeah. So we decided that aspect of his character.
Well, won't you have a sip? Confirm it with your own tongue.
これを
Of this?
I asked while pointing at the coffee in Alice's box.
あんたが飲んだこのコーヒーを
The coffee that you drank? No thanks.
そうだ。
That's right.
心配するな。毒なんて入っていない。私も飲んだだろ。
Don't worry. There isn't any poison in it. I drank it too, right?
それに私は変な病気は持っていない。妙な意味も込めていない。安心してくれ。
And I don't have any strange illnesses either. My motives are pure. Relax.
まあ、無理にとは言わないが、
Well, I won't force you.
これを飲むことが重要なのかその実証のために
Isn't it important that I drink this? Just for the sake of proof.
もちろん
Oh, Satoru said that.
Is it that important that I drink this just for the sake of proof? Of course.
I look back and forth between the 2 cups of coffee. No!
いや俺は飲まない
No, I won't drink it.
そうかまあいいだろ
Is that so? Well, I guess that's fine.
うでは続けようか
Then let's continue.
でどうすればいい
Continue? What am I supposed to do?
何もする必要はないただ見ているだけでいい
You don't need to do anything, just watch.
And Emoto and I watched the device for a while.
何も起きないようだが
It sure doesn't look like anything's happening.
まあ見ていたまえ
No, no, just watch. Behold the power of the STD.
And Emoto checks his wristwatch.
そろそろだな
Any moment now.
At that very moment, Alice transforms. You monster! In an instant, the cup goes from white to black. The coffee inside becomes black as well.
Hit.
転移したのだよ
It transferred.
では今アリスに入っているコーヒーは
And then the coffee inside Alice is.
そう未来今から1分後のボブのコーヒーの情報がアリス過去へと転移したのだ
Exactly. The future. The information of Bob's cup from 1 minute in the future has transferred to Alice's in the past.
そしてさらに1分が経過すると
And in just 1 more minute.
Another minute passes. Woo! Bob's cup transforms as well. Cup and saucer goes from black to white. Now there's milk in the coffee.
今から1分前のアリスのコーヒーの情報がボブ未来へと転移してきた
The past. The origin of Alice's cup from 1 minute in the past has transferred to Bob's in the future. You monster. Yes, that's right. I will use this technology to become the ultimate barista.
その通りさすが物分かりがいい
That's precisely it. You understand quite well.
これは
This is
転移量子テレポーテーション
a transfer. Quantum teleportation.
ではもう一度2つのコーヒーを飲み比べてみよ
Then I'll compare the 2 coffees again.
はなぜ
Huh? Why?
Not answering, and Emoto takes another sip from each coffee.
う
Mm.
ミルク入りも悪く
It's not bad with milk either.
There you go.
逆にブラックは何か物足り
Rather, it's the black that feels unsatisfactory.
おいさっきと言ってることは逆じゃ
Yeah,
ないか
seriously, what the fuck?
Hey, isn't that the opposite of what you said a few minutes ago?
ないだが事実そう感じるのだから仕方がない
What the fuck is going on with you, man?
But I feel that's the truth, so there's no helping it.
どういうことだ
What's going on here?
What does that even mean?
わからないねコーヒーとカップという物質は入れ替わったのにうまさという概念はその場に残留している
You don't understand, do you? Even though the material of the coffee in the cup has changed, the concept of its deliciousness remains.
Are you still taking this seriously? Because I.
まるで何かを暗示しているように感じられないか
Doesn't that remind you of something?
意識
Consciousness.
You're
意識の残留現象それを意味している
Yes, the residual consciousness phenomenon. That's what I mean.
君たち2人の周りの物質と肉体は入れ替わっていても意識はその場に残り続けている。
Even if your bodies and surroundings change places, your consciousness remains where they are.
残念なことに君には飲んでもらえなかったのでいまいち説得力に欠けているが
It's a shame you didn't sample the coffee. My demonstration isn't as effective without audience participation.
とりあえず実証は終了だ。
At any rate, here ends the demonstration.
待てよ。味なんてそんな曖昧なもので説明されたって。
Oh, wait. Trying to explain with something as vague as taste.
味覚が当てにならないと
You're saying the taste is unreliable?
そうだ。その時の気分でコロコロ変わったっておかしくない。
That's right. Taste is subjective. It can change completely depending on how you feel at the time.
まあその考え方も否定できなくはないが
Well, I can't deny that.
先ほども言っただろう。真理は頭で考えても見えてこない。常識という枠にとらわれてはいけない。
I told you before, didn't I? Even if you think about it, the truth won't appear. Don't let yourself be limited by the constraints of common sense. You have to look at it with love.
素直に受け入れたまえ。
Just accept it. Listen. Uchikoshi did a lot of research on Wikipedia for this. Just deal with it. But deal with it!
だがしかし
But that's...
ではあえて補足しよう。
Then let me ask a supplementary question.
君がこれまで幾度となくその身で体験してきた現象は何を意味する？どう説明する？
What's the meaning behind the phenomenon you've experienced so many times by now?
I'm truly at a loss for words. Destruction.
これで信じてもらえた。
Is this a good place to stop? Because we've gone pretty over the usual time. I just wonder, is this a good place to stop or not? Or this seems like something that Battler would object to. And say that there's some kind of trick involved with mysterious STDX or something. I can stop here? Yeah, because it changed chapters without even me realizing it. So I really hate to stop in the middle of something, but... Okay, I might as well stop before things get more exciting. It looks like this is barreling toward a climax a lot faster than I imagined. Diggity dang dang, okay. Well, we are getting some explanations, but they are raising a lot of further questions. Believe, he says. I'm really trying to figure out how this factors into the whole Inabushi Keiko plot and uni and the newspaper. Like, are they completely separate from this? Like, what the fuck is going on with everything else? I just... Oh my god. Alright, you guys, we will continue this on Friday. I really want to see what's going on with the other plot points so much. And we'll see what he's gonna say, what this guy's gonna say next. All my theories are wrong. Who knew, eh? That's how it goes. I really thought that that was his original body or something like that, but... And that, like, that's the explanation for the evil uni and everything, but... Oh, well. We'll see where this goes, because this guy looks to be, like, very mastermindy. But, Until next time, yeah, Thursday's more tales, Friday more of this. So until next time, I will say, so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, good night. You're all the sweetest of hearts. See ya.